where you do talk about the gospel of sin management and our politics. That's actually one of
Yeah.
your chapter titles.
Yes.
I've heard that before. Yours is just, I've heard this even when I was preaching, that, oh, it's just a gospel of sin management. I was very offended by that.
Yeah.
However, in retrospect, over time, I started to see that that was exactly correct
Yeah.
because it wasn't anchored within the biblical story properly. And when you don't have a restoration of all things, when you don't have the proper understanding of creation, you only have a focus of fall and redemption, it does become a gospel of sin management, or it can become. I know that there are some who have managed to buck that trend. I want to know though what you refer to as a gospel, or what you mean by a gospel of sin management, or and could it be described barcode faith?
Yeah. Yeah. So, right. And it's so important to say at the outset, right? Like, the Lord uses all kinds of imperfections, including our own. And so I think the spirit with which Willard talks about these things is not a condemning one, is not one of sort of throwing away. Um, his argument is that these are incomplete gospels. They make discipleship non-essential. That is what he would say. And so, but barcode faith, the way I describe it in the spirit of our politics is, I relate it. The day I turned 15, I went to Wegmans, the local supermarket in Buffalo. It was, Wegmans is from Western New York. Everyone worked there growing up, and I became a cashier. And as a cashier, they have all these sort of metrics, including rates per or scans per minute. And so you get on the good registers, like the express lanes, if you have a high scan per minute rate. And so when you're a cashier, you're just like, wherever the barcode is, like, I just want to find it, scan it, get it in the bag, get people out the door. And Willard in Divine Conspiracy says, we have many people have a barcode faith, which is that so long as you have the right label slapped on you, God, the sort of the divine scanner, will read you as a Christian, and you will go to the good place, and everyone else will end up in the bad place. And it really doesn't matter if you're a bag of pretzels, if the green bean sticker got misplaced and slapped on the pretzel bag, you found a loophole. God, the divine bar scanner, has to read the barcode that's on you, and you'll go to the good place. And he said this is what theology has become in some sectors, which is to be a Christian means that you have provided mental assent to a few key lines of doctrine. And so long as you have done that, you could have the worst kind of character possible, but you'll go to the good place and others will go to the bad place. And Willard said this is developed to the extent which is as widely recognized. You can't say anything categorical. You can't say anything definitive. You can't say anything that would distinguish the character of a Christian from the character of anybody else. That's barcode faith. I in the book, in Divine Conspiracy, he talks about gospels of sin management on the left and the right. And I sort of play with those ideas a bit. And I talk about the fixer gospel and the toolbox gospel. And just real quickly, the fixer gospel essentially refers to I'm Italian. My Willard did not. Don't put this on Willard. Willard, I wouldn't be surprised if he never watched a gangster movie. I in my fallen Italianness, I have watched a couple, and in these movies, there is often a fixer, and the fixer is the guy that the protagonist calls in to uh, to get the body off the floor. Someone's killed in a living room. There's blood on the carpet. The mobster calls his fixer. you got to clean this up. It's got to be done by 3, by 5 in the morning before the people arrive, whatever. And the important thing, one of the important things about, there's almost always a line in the movie that says something like, I don't care how you get it done, just fix the problem, and then I don't want to hear from you again. And the fixer gospel is one that essentially uses Jesus as a sort of eschatological widget. He solves the sin problem. What do you need? I need my sin problem solved. Who solves it? Jesus. Let's call him in. He'll take care of the problem, and then anything after that is non-essential. And so there's like a deep concern among some theological strains about any talk of uh, uh, being a Christian, meaning that uh, your behavior might change because that's viewed as works, and that's viewed as being justified by works and not by faith. And so and as Willard describes, well, what does that do? That makes anything that Paul writes in Colossians about taking off the old self with its practices and putting on the new self that is being renewed in the knowledge of the image of Jesus Christ. It makes all of that non-essential. You could be a Christian and not do that because practices have nothing to do with saving faith. I also talk about the toolbox gospel. And, in the book, I talk about these, sort of associate the fixer gospel on the right, the toolbox gospel on the left. What I hope people recognize is that it really is a horseshoe. I mean, with very subtle tweaks, they're really kind of end up in the same place. But the toolbox gospel is really about going to Christianity and its resources to affirm one's own and advance one's own social agenda. So you have something you want to get done in the social sphere. Well, I wonder if there's a scripture that might support my case. I wonder if there's something in Christian history that might bolster sort of the argument that I'm going to make anyways, right? Like that's it's not it's important. The toolbox is Christianity, not politics. Politics is outside the toolbox. Politics is the thing that you're oriented towards. Christianity is just the thing that you carry with you in case you might need it at some point. And so those are here's the point to tie it directly to politics. It took me a very long time. I've been working in politics since before I was an adult, and it took me a very long time to understand and see. If you think that what it means to be a Christian is to hold the right views on a limited set of social or doctrinal topics, it is really no surprise then that what it means to be a Christian, what it means to have a Christian politics, is that you're willing to nod your head yes on a limited set of policy issues. And it doesn't matter how you advance those policy issues. It doesn't matter what your character is. It doesn't even really matter if your position on those issues comports with reality at all. It doesn't matter if your position on those issues is if your motivation is to help people or not. You just have the right answer. And that's what it means to have a Christian politics. The two are tied, and that's we just gave a pretty decent summary of the third chapter of the spirit of our politics.